I want to speak about a new podcast that we have at The Australian. I've done the podcast and it goes behind the scenes into my Wuhan investigation. It features the full interviews that I did with intelligence officers, Chinese dissidents, scientists, politicians. And the very first episode, which is out now, includes the full interview that I did for Sky News with Donald Trump. It's the first time the full interview has been aired. And in it, Trump takes aim at the tech giants. He blames them for the fact that COVID-19 was dismissed as a conspiracy. And I also asked Trump at the end, as his media advisor is trying to wrap me up, I asked Trump about Taiwan. And he says the risk of China invading Taiwan has escalated under Joe Biden's, what he says, weak leadership in the wake of the collapse of Afghanistan. Have a listen.
I had an understanding with China, I had a very good relationship with China and President Xi. They would have never said that. I think they're seeing it now because they see very weak leadership, pathetic leadership. I also think that when you look at Afghanistan, where they moved out the military before they moved out the civilians, where they left all of this, hundreds of millions of dollars and even billions of dollars of equipment behind without taking it out, I think it's very disgraceful.
And he goes on to predict that bad things, as he puts it, could now happen to Taiwan. Matt Canavan, Trump does have a point here, doesn't he, in that in the wake of Afghanistan's collapse, America's enemies have a stronger footing. They're emboldened by the vacuum that the United States has left in the Middle East.
Well, the general point here is an ancient one, Sharri, that if you want to avoid war, you've got to prepare for it. And the meaning of that old Latin saying from Roman times is that it's really important to show strength, to convince, especially those hawks in the Chinese government, that if they were to do something as crazy as invade another country, there would be consequences. And that's where I think the Labor Party just doesn't get it. You've had the likes of Penny Wong and Paul Keating out there criticising Peter Dutton for saying exactly that there would be consequences. We need to say that to try and avoid any conflict or situation that we, of course, do not want. And if I can just tie this to the whole Build Back Stronger campaign, I agree with part of it here, because Build Back Stronger stands for BBS, and those last two characters are right, because it's BS from the Labor Party here that somehow we put a tax on jobs. They've had a 200 hit list of polluters they announced on Friday, including the Eraring power station just up the road from me here at Lake Macquarie. And Matt Thistlethwaite has to come clean. Are they going to have a tax on their jobs? That's going to make us weaker. The idea that we just set an emissions target, we lower power prices by $300, what a joke, what a load of BS. That is not improving our strength. That is not preparing ourselves for anything that might go wrong. And so what we've got to do as our nation is forget all these distractions and get back to improving our strength, improving our defence forces, bringing back manufacturing jobs here, not just imaginary ones that are thought up on the back of an envelope, but real jobs, rebuilding our steel industry, rebuilding our manufacturing sector. That's what we should concentrate on. Okay. And I'm sorry, Shara, I was listening to Joe Rogan on the up here. I'll have to load up your podcast next. I'll do that on the way to Newcastle.